the Dalles, Oregon, and I wasn't ever really involved in agriculture till I got into high school when I worked cherry harvest at a friend's orchard. His family had a cherry orchard, so I worked cherry harvest for them. When I got into college, the guy I was working for at the time convinced me that I should go to school for agriculture. When I started in high school, I fell in love with the whole aspect of growing cherries, and it really sparked my interest. I always asked questions to the boss man. I wanted to know why they did things a certain way and how things worked and why they were done the way they were. It always caught my interest, and I fell in love with it just working cherry harvest during the summertime. I've been back in ag for about 10 months now, and I've learned a lot more than I ever thought I would. I immediately got back, and it was February, so we were starting to have to spray nonstop and frost fans every night, almost all the time. And so I went from harvesting when I was younger during summer times and got thrown into, well, you got to be at work tonight. We're going to have to start the frost fans and light up the smudge pots tonight. And so my first week back on it was the intense part in the springtime and the frost season. So it was pretty intense, and I've learned a ton of stuff, spraying and frost season and prepping for harvest times. When I was in high school, one of the farms I worked on was a smaller farm, and I knew that around the year they didn't have as much work going on there. But then when I got to here, we farm over 1,000 acres of fruit, and there's a whole lot more work that goes on year round than it does on the smaller orchards that I previously worked at in high school. We started planting, and that mixed in with running the frost fans each night and spraying and making sure all the crews are doing everything they need to do, rather than knowing in high school the place that I'd been working at had 3 people working there during the year and then hired on 20 people for harvest. And now we've got way more than that just throughout the year. Transitioning from cherries to pears posed some challenges, such as I never knew what fire blight even was. I didn't know that it was a disease that could really harm these trees, and I didn't know that during the springtime we'd be spraying for it, and that was pretty intense. And I'd be running frost fans in the night and then get a couple hours of sleep and get up in the morning time, turn off the fans and start spraying. And the intensity of that made it pretty challenging. Looking back to when I was younger, I really wish I would have asked more questions, because I always viewed this as something that was impossible to me. My family never had farms. I wasn't exposed to it until high school when I got a job working as labor during harvest. I wish that I had decided when I was younger that this is not only what I love doing, but this is what I'm going to do with my life, because had I gone into it with that mindset, all those years in between, I'm not going to say they're wasted, but they could have been spent doing what I love and gotten me 3 years further ahead of where I am right now.